5:35 is the time. 911 dispatchers nationwide are being recognized for their public safety service.
Eric Spillman is live in Anaheim at the police department there with more on National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Good morning to you, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Good morning to you, Chris and Megan. National Public Safety Telecommunicator is a fancy way of talking about a dispatcher. And we're in the dispatch center here at the Anaheim Police Department. All the emergency calls in this area come right through here. And these people have been working for 12 hours straight, and they're still up, and they're still handling these emergency calls. And look, they're morning news fans, too. Not even I get a mug like this, but somehow they have them. They work very, very hard. If, for example, there's an intruder, a home invasion, a fire, the call comes here first. It's a very stressful job. You have to multitask, difficult. Let's talk to Stephanie De Leon, who's been working here for how many years now?
At the police department for 32, dispatching for 23.
And you kind of came up with an estimate on how many calls, emergency calls you've had.
I did. My ballpark is over 300,000 calls.
300,000 calls from people who are very concerned about some kind of emergency happening in their home. Let's go over one example, and that is, there's an intruder in my house. What do you tell a person if there's an intruder in the house?
Well, first I'm going to find out where they are in the home and tell them to position themselves somewhere where they can be safe, whether that be a bathroom, a closet, anywhere they can be safe.
And then you're going to tell them to be careful because your officers are coming. You're going to stay on the phone with them.
I'm going to stay on the phone with them. I'm going to update the officers as to the progress of the call, and I'm going to update the caller as to the location of the officers as they proceed in.
All right. And are you trying to keep them calm? How do you do that?
Some are more challenging than others, but basically having a calm voice and calm demeanor and trying to keep them as calm as possible. Even general conversation can help.
You want to keep them on the line?
Yes, want to keep them on the line the whole time.
All right, let's talk about some of the more humorous calls that you've gotten. I know they come in. You were telling me about something that happened on Thanksgiving.
Yes, a gal called 911 to try to find out how to bake her turkey. She was in a panic before her family arrived.
Did you tell her how to cook the turkey?
Not on 911. We did have resources for her. We sent her with a correct phone number for her to use.
Use the turkey hotline. Don't call 911.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to talk more as we honor these dispatchers for the tremendous work that they do. They are really the first of the first responders, and possibly later this morning, they're going to give me a headset too, and I may dispatch some police.
Dispatchers nationwide are being recognized for their public safety service.
Eric Spillman is live at the Anaheim Police Department with more on National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Good morning, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Good morning, Megan. Good morning, Chris. And these really are the unsung heroes of law enforcement and first responding, because when you call in, this is the Anaheim Dispatch Center here, Anaheim Police Department. These are the people you never see, you never thank them, but they're on the other end of the line, and they're getting you the emergency help that you need, and they're getting it to you very, very fast. And this is the week we honor them. Let's come on over here and talk to Leora, who's been working here for 8 years. You've been a dispatcher.
Yes.
What's that like?
It's a challenging job, but I enjoy it. You have to be really good at multitasking and being able to be calm under pressure, but mostly trying to get the help to people that they need when they need it quick.
How do you handle that? You know, somebody calls in and, you know, their life could be at stake. There might be an intruder in their house or something like that. And you know that what you're so crucial, that's a lot of pressure. How do you deal with that?
Well, it's all the training that goes into this. We've trained for years, some of us, and being calm, being that calming voice on the other end of the line for both the callers and the officers is so important.
You ask a lot of questions. Why?
We're trying to create a picture for our officers, not only for the safety of them, but for our callers, for their families, or whoever we're going to be attending to. We want to create a scene for them when they walk in so that they have everything.
As much information as they can get.
Exactly, as much as we can get.
If somebody calls in and you don't hear any talking, but you hear noise, what do you do?
Well, our job here, we're, like you said, we're heard but not really seen. So we're trying to hear anything that we can, whether it's something falling, crashing, maybe somebody whispering or trying to get a message through to us. So we're working with what we have.
All right, let's talk about the silly things that people call 911 about. What example? I know we've heard so much about this. What kind of dumb things do people do?
Well, you know what? Sometimes they call and they think it's an emergency, so we try to be as compassionate as we can and try to help them. We had one caller, it was a mom, saying that her son was going to be coming to Disneyland, and she was calling us trying to see what hotel was best, and we asked her if she knew of a travel agent, and she said, well, Yeah, I do, but I thought the police department would know which hotels are better for him.
All right, let's get this straight. The reason to call 911 is when what is happening?
There's a life and death emergency or a crime in progress.
Okay. Life-threatening emergency,
Gotcha.
crime in progress.
What about
That
cooking
is
the
story.
turkey and how to do it?
What about cooking a turkey? It's happened. They got a call last Thanksgiving. How do I cook my turkey?
Right.
That is not a life-saving emergency. That's not a
I
life-threatening
don't know,
emergency.
Eric.
I wouldn't say it was unless it catches fire.
Or explodes. But oh yeah, if there's a fire in the kitchen, okay. But really. But hey, next hour here, they told me they're going to let me wear the headset and participate in a call in some way. Okay? Stand by for that.
I'm definitely looking forward.
The people that you first talk to when you have an emergency, they are being celebrated this week.
Eric Spillman in Anaheim talking to dispatchers for the Anaheim Police Department. Eric, good morning.
I just want to practice here. 911 emergency. Can I help you? 911 emergency. They're not going to let me really do it. Come on. There's no way. They're not going to let me. Come on. This is a charade. But we're here at the Anaheim Dispatch Center, Anaheim Police Department, to learn about what these people do. And they are the unsung heroes of law enforcement. When there's an emergency, you don't know who you're talking to, but you need their help. And they're listening on the other line, and they're going to get you the help you need as soon as possible. Let's talk to Shannon over here. She's been a dispatcher here for, what, a dozen years?
Yeah, 12 years.
And why do you like this job?
You know what? I enjoy helping people, getting them the help they need, and being that calm when they need it.
How do you remain calm when potentially somebody's life is at stake?
Just knowing that I have to get them help, I just think through it. How would I want to be if it was, me calling for help? That's how I respond to those things.
We talked earlier, and you told me what the type of call is that you dislike the most. What is that?
Anything dealing with children. Because when you have a child and then you have someone that, they're breathing, it goes right to your heart. It's scary.
Yeah. And you think about it afterwards, I'm
Oh,
sure.
definitely. Because you wonder what happened to the child, especially if they don't make it, or if they make it. You just hope always for the best.
That, I heard, is the biggest problem with this type of work, is that you're not quite sure exactly what happened, how it was resolved. Do you ask? For example, let's say there was an intruder in somebody's house or domestic violence situation. Do you find out what happened?
We try to, for that closure for us, because we don't always get that. But a lot of the times, a lot of our officers are really good about calling up and giving us the info, letting us know.
Let's talk a little bit about the calls that you get that aren't emergencies, because those happen.
Oh, all the time.
They happen all the time. And one of the big nuisances you were saying is old cell phones. People have old cell phones around their house, and they let the kids play with them.
Oh, that's horrible, because we don't have a phone number to call back on, and they're calling 911, and they think it's a joke, and they're calling saying, oh, we need the police, and then they hang up. Or they think they're ordering pizza, so we ask you not to let them play with the phones.
Yeah. Because even the old cell phones can still call 911.
Yes, that's correct, and they can only call 911.
All right. Thanks for talking to us. Really quickly now, Frank Buckley also visited a dispatch center in Los Angeles. Want to show some pictures of that. He got a chance to meet these heroes, I would have to call them,
Yes, they
of
are.
law enforcement. And terrific people. They don't get the credit that they deserve.
They are fantastic, Eric, and they have to, I was just telling the guys here in the studio, they have to make very important decisions very quickly. And the one thing they told me that that we can do to help them is give them as much information as quickly as possible. You can't just say, send the police, because they get 4.5 million calls in LA alone every year.
Unbelievable.
It's incredible what they do. And I got the patch.
Nice.
The captain gave me the patch for the unit. So
it is
very
incredible, because if you think of most of us, what happens in an extreme situation like that, we all panic, cry, freak out. So
they're watching right now. So good morning,
amazing
guys.
job they do.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Mark. Dispatchers nationwide being recognized for their public safety service.
Eric Spillman live at the Anaheim Police Department with more on National Pubic Safety Telecommunicators Week. Eric, good morning.
Good morning. It's just a fancy name for dispatcher. And let me tell you, this is a difficult job. You got to be able to multitask. You got to have compassion. You got to have patience. And you got to be able to deal with stress. That's what these people are doing over here. And guess what? Ha! When they're not handling emergencies, they're watching us. We love these folks. Anaheim Police Department, good morning to you. They're handling some calls now. This is the week where we kind of try and show some appreciation to these folks who are there on the other end of the line when you need them. You need their help right away. You need help from the police or the fire department, and they are the ones who get it to you as quickly as they can. Let's come on up over here and talk to Sylvia Clark, who's been doing this job for what, 20 years?
No, about 17 years.
17 years, that's a good long time, and the technology has changed. Now there are cell phones that everyone is using. How does that make your job harder?
Well, back in the day, you would have maybe 1 or 2 people call about an accident, but now we have all the 911 lines light up because everybody's calling from their cell phone.
Right. So, and another problem is knowing exactly where they are, because the cell phone doesn't really tell you.
Right. It gives you a semi-close location, but not the exact location. So that's why we ask so many questions, mainly where you are. So always just be prepared with the address.
Okay. And you have tricks sometimes, like kids will call in, and obviously they're not going to know the address. What do you do when a kid calls in, there's an emergency?
We ask them to check for their mail, to give us the numbers on letters that they have around the house, or check the license plate numbers of the neighborhood, if it's safe for them to do so.
What are the worst types of calls that you get?
Those are the ones involving babies, like babies not breathing. Those are really hard for us.
How do you handle the stress of that?
Just talk to each other. We have peer support that would help us here. So, but mainly talking to each other, because we all can relate to it.
Okay. What are the nuisance calls that you get, the crazy calls that are not emergencies?
Oh, there's so many. I can't even think of one.
I know you've gotten them. Somebody said they got a call on how to cook a turkey on Thanksgiving.
Those, we always get those around Thanksgiving. And like earthquakes, did we have an earthquake? Is the power out when their house is blacked out? Yeah.
All
so
right.
we get those kind of
All right. What's the most rewarding part of this job?
Just knowing that you help somebody every single day.
Terrific. Hey, you know what? Anaheim Police Department is actually hiring dispatchers. They're always hiring. If you'd like this type of career, we have some information for you on the screen here, and you can apply for this job. It is the type of job where, at the end of the day, you will go home and you will know that you did something rewarding, that you actually helped somebody else. And I got to tell you, there aren't a whole lot of jobs like that where you know for sure that you've helped somebody. We'll send it back to you.